So, I'm Melanie with Music Scene Media. I'm here with Zach. Would you like to introduce yourself and tell us what role you play?
Yes. Hello. Thank you so much for having me. I'm Zach. I play drums in the pop punk-ish band Old Neon.
Yes. All right. Can you tell me about how you guys came together as a band?
Yeah. I was the really the last person to jump on board in the early goings. Sean, our bassist and founder and fearless leader, he had been trying to get the project off the ground in various iterations for over a year, I think. At first, it was like a very indie, folky type band, and then he, wanted to experiment with, what would happen if I took these folky songs that I have and made them pop punk, alternative, emo type stuff, and he started getting people together, and in December of 2021, he sent me a message on Instagram and said, "Join my band." And I said, "Okay."
Yeah. Well, that was easy.
Yeah.
I know at least near me, drummers are like the hard piece to find, the hard piece of the puzzle.
It's the same here. Yeah,
Yeah.
I imagine it's everywhere. No
Yeah.
parent wants their child to be a drummer, at least for the most part. My parents were super cool with it, but everyone prefers quieter instruments. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, I feel like people just don't get into it. And then one drummer gets spread between five bands, and
Hmm.
no one ever has one.
Yeah. So what do you think sets Old Neon apart in the pop punk scene,
Oh gosh, I don't know.
if anything?
Yeah, I mean, gosh. And of course, I'm going to be biased. But
Yeah.
I think that I think we do a good job. Our
Yeah.
live performance, I think we're a tight band. I think the songs we write, they're pop punk songs. We're not reinventing the wheel, but we have, as any artist would, have their own flavor, their own spin that they put on it. Those of us in the band, we all like pop punk, but we all like very different types of pop punk,
Hmm.
very different bands. Um, we have a pretty wide spread of influence that's shared amongst us, and so um, I think especially with our new songs with the EP that is coming out, that we have been able to integrate those varied voices and influences to make something that is definitely a lot better than anything we've done to this point. And I think that Drew and Sean there are like kind of like our primary songwriters, and our guitarist B as well. They all are just really good at what they do, and B is a virtuoso guitarist. At least I think so. They're really great. Drew is really excels with writing, vocal melody and instrumental melody and making things that'll stick in your brain. And Sean, he writes lyrics that will, make you feel things. And I think that between all that stuff, when it comes together, it makes something that's at least not objectively terrible.
No, it's not. At least for me, when I listened to your songs, I felt like there was a good bit of like nostalgia sound wise. Like it was like
Mm.
this is what made me fall in love with pop punk. Like it's just
Hmm.
there's yeah, you have a great sound.
Well,
Um,
thank you.
so on to the EP, Resolution.
Mhm.
Um, it was described as being about fighting and making things work. Was there something that inspired that theme?
Yeah, I mean, it just so happened that I guess the lyrical content of the songs, granted, respectively, for each song, they're all about very different things, but um, about hardship, about adversity. Um, and leading up to making the EP, we were facing some of that internally. We had been a band for how long has it been? Um, I don't know, 3-ish, almost 3 years, two and a half. And we were realizing that some of the ways that we were doing things just weren't working. We weren't doing things well enough for each other. There was a point, a few months before we went to track the EP where we weren't entirely sure that we were going to be a band in a few months to be able to go make the EP.
Yeah.
And so we just had to have some really tough conversations to figure out how we can better take care of each other and represent each other through the creative process and the artistic choices that we're making, and make sure that we all have the seat at the table that we deserve. And so I think that's really what that quote is speaking to, that in the lead up to going and tracking things, we had to work really hard as like a group of people, not even musicians, to make the thing keep going.
Yeah. Do you feel like there's a track on the EP that kind of best represents it as a whole?
I would say Better Son. Better Son is a song that is actually a couple years old at this point. There was a version of it that we recorded that we were going to put on our last release that we scrapped because we knew that we could do better with it. And whenever we brought it back to this room, my basement, really seamlessly, it started to come together as something that was a bit more us. And over time, with refining and more workshopping and getting some notes from Matt Brash, who we worked on the EP with, started really becoming a song that it just does things a bit differently than previous stuff that we've made and released. And I think that one, it's really what kind of started the writing process for this EP and really got it moving. So I would say that one.
Okay. Did you face any challenges when writing or recording it in particular that kind of mirrored the theme of the album even? But I guess you
Hmm.
did kind of go into that with the
Yeah,
struggling with
yeah.
the band.
As far as like the interpersonal difficulties, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. With writing it and recording it, I mean, writing it, it was a bit different because we took a different writing approach that was much more collaborative. Historically, the way that things would go, in the early goings was that Drew would write a song, Sean would have a song, and we would come to practice and learn it. And we were we were rushing a little bit, just because we were a new band and we needed songs and we needed to have them finished and get them out. And so this time we took a very different approach that required us to slow down a lot, where we were writing mostly together in the room,
Mhm.
taking suggestions from Matt as we would send demos off to him and he would give us some stuff to try. And granted, that wasn't, I guess that it's in and of itself, I wouldn't describe as being a struggle, but it was different. There's a certain amount of difficulty that comes with most things that are different, right?
Yeah.
So there, times in the room where, I have an idea, B has an idea, Mike has an idea, whomever, and like you got to fight for it a little bit, and that can be
Yeah.
a little intimidating, especially say for someone like me who I'm the drummer archetype. I'm a drummer. I'm not a songwriter. I'm not. I don't consider myself much of a musician. I consider myself a drummer. And so those parts can be difficult. As far as recording it, it was really hard work from everyone involved, and so that's pretty difficult. We got there on a Sunday night. I tracked one song, and then the following day tracked the other four. So I had like a 10-hour day that day. And I had it easy because the others, Drew having to do the main vocals and all the harmonies. Well, he's got several of those long days. B having to do rhythm parts and lead parts on some of the songs. They have several of those long days. Same with Mike. Same with Sean. And so, a lot of long 12-hour days where of course, we're doing what we love. Like making music is magical and it can be grueling sometimes. And it, it made all the difference as well to have Matt there working on it with us because he was able to keep going. I think that really helped us to keep going. There were times where we would do 12 hours and we would be going back to our Airbnb to call it a night. And Matt is staying up for 4 hours, 5 hours later, working on the files and sending us stuff. And so it's like, well, if he's doing all this, we can't let up either. Like we got to make sure we go and produce and
Yeah.
keep it
Kind of
pushing.
keeps you motivated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Do you have a favorite lyric from the album, the EP?
yeah. Comes from Better Son.
Mm.
It is what the pre-chorus lyric. We're all in survival mode, stitching up war wounds. I haven't given up yet, but I'm running on fumes.
Mm.
I really like that one. Oh, it speaks to things for me personally about just how difficult change can be, how difficult, the song is about loss. And so how difficult it can be to lose someone, be going through just like a really life changing change,
Mm.
for a terrible way of putting it. And, how difficult it can be to work through that. And in my life outside of being a drummer in Old Neon, I'm a therapist, and so my work deals with that very struggle every single day, just going through things, and those things do things to us, and they might not be things that we particularly like, and it can be really hard to untether from those things.
Yeah. What do you hope fans take away from the EP when they finish listening to it? How do you want them to feel?
I want them to feel like Old Neon is the best band in the world.
Yes.
No,
Besides that.
no, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I hope that they really take anything away from it that they enjoyed, whether it is something that is instrumental, whether it is a lyric that speaks to them and they connect with, and it gives them something that they didn't have before they heard our music. Yeah, none of us got into a local pop punk band because like we thought that we were gonna be millionaires and like tour the world and et cetera, et cetera. We're very much in it for the love of the game. And for me, the love of the game is, the connection that music brings, whether it's from, connecting with other people through the music, like, people you meet at shows, finding a community, something that gives you identity, or just connecting to music that gives you a reason to move, or it moves you for some reason.
Mhm.
So anything that they're able to take away from it that is meaningful is just what I hope they take. It's kind of a non-answer, I acknowledge, but
Yeah.
that's what I think of.
Oh, that works. So what about, do you have a particular comfort album for you that you listen to when you're going through a tough time?
mm. Oh, there's so many. I would say comfort albums would be just my favorite ones. Rise or Die Trying by 4 Years Strong, The Upsides by The Wonder Years, The Greatest Generation by The Wonder Years.
Hmm.
Um, I think th those would be
Those are good answers.
those would be the top
Yeah.
ones. Yeah.
So who do you have on repeat lately, artist wise?
Oh man. I so a few weeks ago we played a show in Lansdale with a band called The Great American Typewriter, and they are so great. I didn't know them prior to us playing with them, and played with them. We played a show the next night in Lancaster at the Launch Music Conference, and I had like a 3.5 hour drive home, that night after that, and I listened to them the whole way, and they have been in my repeated songs ever since. It's exclusively The Great American Typewriter. Um, yeah, really them. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's other bands, of course, but them, The Great American
Okay.
Typewriter.
I might have to check them out. All right. Um, what is your favorite song to play live and why?
My,
It can be a new one or an old one.
yeah, I'm looking at our whiteboard over here that we have our set lists on to see what jumps out at me. I really love playing our song Empty Frames. I really like because it's energy through and through. It's a fun one for me,
Mm,
uh, just with like what that song requires of me. Um, and I've always liked the chorus of that song, and so it makes me really happy when we get to play that one.
good. Are there any tour plans, music videos, anything in the works that you could talk about?
Yeah, I don't know when this will be out, but we're touring very soon,
Oh,
as
okay.
in like this week soon.
Oh,
Yeah, it will be in oh gosh, I'm gonna have to pull up the flyer so I get the venues, because I remember the locations but not the venues, because we don't play out of town much, so all these places are new, and so I don't remember them.
mm,
All right, we will be in Philly on this Thursday, the 22nd, at the Fringe Bar. Friday, we'll be back home in Pittsburgh at Bottle Rocket, for that's gonna serve as our EP release show.
mhm,
We'll be in Columbus, Ohio, on Saturday, the 24th, at Dirty Dungarees, which I learned is a laundromat, which is awesome, and I can't wait to play there.
yeah.
Uh, we'll be after that on Sunday, the 25th, at the Southgate House Revival in Newport, Kentucky. And all those shows will be with the bands Afloat and Mud Whale, who were so kind and generous as to invite us on this little run that they're doing with them. So we're
Yeah.
very thankful to them. But that's what we're doing this week. And then after that, uh, in June 20th, we'll be playing in Pittsburgh at the Craft House with Forever Came Calling and Calling All Captains.
Oh, that'd be good.
Yeah. And I think we'll have a video out this Friday as
Okay.
well for our song Baby Blue that is on the EP. The whole EP comes out Friday, the 23rd. So,
Yeah, that's exciting. And like half the cities you just mentioned, like I've been to because I'm actually from Wheeling, West Virginia. So
oh, no way.
yeah, just right down the
Okay.
road there, kind of
Okay.
45
Yeah.
minutes, you know. Yeah.
Are you still you it didn't
I'm in
sound like
North
you're still in
Carolina
Wheeling.
now.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
I ran away.
Yeah.
Nothing up there.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. I've only been there a couple times, but yeah, anytime I've been to West Virginia, it's very much been an out and back thing. It's like, no, I'm going for a park, I'm going for this specific reason, and then I'm coming back.
Yeah. Pittsburgh was fine. There's, music venues, everything there, but
hmm
that's that's the extent of what I liked about it up there. My family and the
Gotcha.
few times I could go to shows. So,
hmm
all right. Well, that is all I've got for you. But do you have anything else you'd like to share with your fans that may be watching or anyone that may be watching that's like, well, why should I listen to them? What would you say?
Um, anyone that's watching that would ask why should I listen to them, I would say probably don't. You don't need to.
No.
Um, no, I would say, I mean, hey, if you like pop punk, if you like, I guess a brand of pop punk that might remind you of a few different like eras or iterations. Like you said, there's an element of nostalgia to some of
It
our
really is.
stuff,
Yeah.
and there's some of them that nostalgia is, I would say, like mostly absent, if not entirely. Not that we're, like I said, not that we're reinventing the wheel, but like we jump around a little bit and we do different things that I think can appeal to a lot of different folks, a lot of different fans of pop punk and the associated subgenres. And if that doesn't convince you, I don't know. We're all really cute, and you should listen to us because we're cute.
There you go. Solid reasoning.
Yeah,
All right. Well, thanks so much for your time.
of course. Well, thank
Have
you
fun on
so
tour.
much. We will do so. Thank
All
you.
right. Okay. Bye.